I've got a snake to show you. No, not the reptile. This is the Cobra Mechanical Chronograph White Panda from watch brand Detroit Mint. I'll give you all the details and my opinion of this watch here on Adventures with Time. If you've been watching my channel recently, you may have realized that I've been interspersing videos of micro-brand watches in with reviews of higher-priced watches from major brands and some watch collecting strategy videos. Many viewers aren't interested in these affordable watches. They just want to see watches from major brands. Others enjoy seeing micro-brand watches. As I've stated in other videos, I believe one should experience watches from all price tiers. At least that's what I like to do, even though I come across some watches that have little appeal to me. Sorry to say, this Cobra Chronograph is not something I find appealing, but that doesn't mean it won't appeal to you, which is why I want to show it to you. Looking through the Detroit Mint website, you will notice that as of this recording, they have 38 watches listed, all under $500. Most, but not all, are racing-inspired watches, as is this Cobra Mechanical Chronograph, which is currently listed at $399 US. According to the description on the website, the Cobra was inspired by racing chronographs of the 1960s. This watch comes in a 3/16L stainless steel case with an all-polished finish, diameter of 40 millimeters and a thickness of 13.5 millimeters. Lug to lug is 46 millimeters with a 20 millimeter lug width and a 3.9 non-screw-down logoed crown. This is a chronograph which is powered by the Seagull ST19 movement. More on that later. This watch has a water-resistant rating of 50 meters. However, I would stay away from intentionally getting this watch wet. Stick around for an issue I have, which I believe is caused by the case and crown. This model has a white panda dial. It is also available in a black dial. Both use Super Luminova C3 to provide low-light readability, and here is the customary lume shot. Note that neither the running second subdial nor the chronograph minute subdial are illuminated. I can understand the running seconds hand not really requiring lume, but if you're going to put lume on the chronograph second hand, I think you should also apply it to the chronograph minute hand. For full disclosure, I will state that chronographs are not my preferred type of watch. I don't hate them, as I do have the Seagull 1963 in my collection. It's just that it's not a complication which interests me that much. Let me give you my thoughts about the aesthetics of this watch apart from my attitude on chronographs. The Cobra has a nice clean dial, fairly readable, and given the virtually non-existent bezel, the dial takes up most of the 40 millimeter diameter. It's nice to see such a large dial, especially for a racing watch. You also get some very nice reflection from the polished beveled hour indices. We have black hour and minute hands, white subdial hands, and a red chronograph second hand tipped with an arrowhead. As a racing watch, the minute track is subdivided into 1/5 seconds. Beyond that, the chapter ring has an outer track that, as noted on the website, features a 1/100th of a minute chronograph track to time your lap times or just to be a more usable means of measurement. Much easier to read and use than a tachometer. It's something I haven't seen on other watches. Above the 6 o'clock position, they've printed a cobra snake. Unfortunately, there is a lack of detail which makes the cobra look like the L on the sweaters that Laverne wore on Laverne and Shirley. The cobra on the black dial model seems to have more detail visible, but I can't tell for sure. They put a box sapphire crystal, which I believe has anti-reflective coating, since you can see a blue tinge on the reflection. The crystal adds to the thick look this watch has when viewing from the side. You can see that from top down we have the crystal bezel, wide case, and screw-down case back. That brings me to the issue I alluded to before. It's hard to grip the crown to wind this watch. Given this is a non-screw-down crown, the crown is extremely close to the case when in the winding position. It's not a very thick crown, hence there is not a lot of crown to grab, and I find that the tapered case means I get less of a grip on the top side than on the bottom. Another impact of the tapered case, combined with its thickness, produces a gap between the lug and my wrist. That is not noticeable at first, but when reviewing this watch in detail, as I do for my videos, I now can't keep from seeing it and thinking that it looks odd. Now, it's nice to have a display case back to see the movement and its support of the chronograph functionality. I like this much better than a case back that has some stamped or engraved design. The Cobra gives a greater view of that ST19 movement than my Seagull 1963, which has the exact same movement. It's nice to see all the gears and levers that make this movement work. Watching a movement at work is one of the great joys of this hobby. Clearly, this isn't a watch I would purchase for myself, primarily because I have a chronograph which is sufficient for my collecting desires. Not that I wouldn't buy a second chronograph if I find something that really appeals to me, but the Cobra doesn't. However, my job is not to tell you what to purchase. My job is to present a variety of watches to you and describe the specs, features, and aesthetics as I see them. You need to decide for yourself what watches fit into your interests and style. Having said that, let me ask, what do you think about this watch? Now, here are some links to other chronographs that I've reviewed. Do these interest you more or less than the Cobra? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.